In the 70s, California witnessed the birth of skateboarding. Since then, the sport has come a long way, and along with it, so has legendary skateboarder Tony Alva.
When surfing hit the streets, of Southern California, there was a time where the surf wasn't so good, and it was cross-training that led to skateboarding. A lot of guys just started nailing roller skates on the bottom of boards. Like the first skateboard, as far as the equipment, it was really primitive. So it's really exciting, to look back at where that all started and where it came from and where it's at now.
And as skateboarding continues to rise, it is the skate team best known as the Z-Boys who are ultimately responsible for not only taking the subculture to extreme heights, but also having it recognized as a legitimate sport and business.
Well, the Z-Boys experience for me really was just wanting to be on the surf team, which ended up being a skate team that was a revolutionary, especially guys that I hung out with like Jay Adams and Stacy Peralta, is we had to break ground, and do this stuff first before it was even recognized that it could be done at all. And that includes being entrepreneurs too. I was really fortunate, I think, when I was able to brand Alva, because my life at that point was just like, I was like the Mick Jagger of the Zephyr team. I was out there just completely, totally just living like a rock star. I ended up hooking up with some guys that had business savvy, and one thing led to another, and when I was 19 years old, in the late 70s, I started my own skateboard company. And so, I get to sponsor like a lot of young kids. Some of the kids come and go, but the ones that stick around and that stay, we're able to do some really cool things together.
Having raised the bar, this world champion is dedicated to setting an example for other Latinos in the sport in order to see more and more of them enter extreme action competitions.
I think that being Latino in a way was good for me, because what it did was it gave me that fire, that I think burns inside of a lot of Latinos. I had pride. Nowadays, Latinos are like, especially like, the number one kid right now is Paul Rodriguez. And he's got a whole little contingent of proteges underneath him. And it's not about all the material wealth, and it's not about all the victories. It's really about the fact that a kid like Tony Alva in the 70s, and then a kid like Paul Rodriguez in the 21st century, that we can have an influence on not only Latin culture and give these kids something to aspire to, but that also, at this point in my life, I feel like I can set a good example.
Having revolutionized skateboarding, Tony is ready to pass the torch to his proteges, the members of Team Alva, to whom he's not just a legend, but also a mentor.
I translate it to the youth by sharing my experience, my strength, and my hope with them, but at the same time, walking the walk, and not just talking the talk. I just share my experience with them and tell them what I went through and how I did it, and how I ended up where I'm at today. The quality life that I live now at this point in my life, it took a long time to learn that. I started to give back to the kids, especially by being of service to them, not for money, not for ego, but just for the fact that if I gave it away, it would always come back to me. I think the message for most Latinos is just believe in yourself and guide yourself to have a spiritual path in life. And that spiritual path will lead to happiness and freedom.